Can you guys break down fish locations from spring, summer, and fall? Locations versus depth? That's one question. Kevin asks, can we do more on the Indian Lake chain? Absolutely we can. Looking up Beauty wants to know about fall weather and its effect on the fishing. We're going to touch on that. Rick Williams asks, can you show how you retrieve your baits and how you work them? And absolutely, we're going to talk about that and what we're going to do this season. And Michael asked, where do we get our lures? And Spinner Fisherman asked about the bait wall. We're going to touch on all those subjects. We're going to start right now. Steve Ravely's one of the YouTube followers, and I've actually had the privilege of fishing with him. We spent a day fishing Cedar Lake last year, and while I don't believe we got one, Steve come close. Check out the clip right here where we actually lost one boat side. Just one of those things that happens. Actually, I'm going to talk about that clip in another video in the future. But Steve asked, can you break down the location and the depth and where you're finding fish from spring, summer, fall? Because Steve comes up a couple times a year and he doesn't want to spend 2 or 3 days of his trip trying to find the pattern. He's looking for a starting point on the Shield Lakes that he fishes. So what we were thinking, Steve, is that this year, if you want to call it a recap or a highlight on what the conditions are, what we're kind of seeing fish on, and we're going to try and update that through YouTube at least bi-weekly, weekly if we can. I can't guarantee weekly, but we're going to give you guys an idea that, hey, we're out on Eagle Lake. It's July 1st. Here's the water temp. Here's kind of what we're seeing for weeds, and we'll put that up as either a short or we're going to do some sort of style where it's like an informational, quick, short video that you guys can reference when you're coming up to Canada, and hopefully we can keep that going through the course of the summer, and that will help guys like Steve when he comes up. He'll have an idea what the water temp is. We'll try and let you know kind of what we think the patterns are. If we don't know specifically, we'll at least try and point you guys in the right direction, so hopefully that helps. Kevin asked, can you do more content on Indian Lake chain? Kevin, surprisingly, there's a lot of content on the Indian Lake chain, but because we never mention the lakes by name or put the names in titles very often, and we do that on purpose. We don't want to, put too much pressure on these lakes or give away too many spots, and we don't really hide what it is we're doing or where we're fishing. But we don't exactly promote the name unless we're, dealing with a camp or for another reason. But that being said, there's times when we're on the Indian Lake chain that you may not realize it. But yes, this year we're going to be out on the Indian Lake chain a little bit more because there's a pattern out there that we want to try and get on early this year and then throughout the summer that we're going to try. And if it works out for us, you guys will definitely see, more footage that we'll kind of explain what it is we're doing, where we're doing it, and why we're doing it. And hopefully that'll help. And we're going to do some breakdown videos where we look at a lake overall and kind of break it down by section without giving away every individual spot. So again, hope that helps. This question comes from Look Anna Beauty. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And it's fall weather and the effects on the fishing. And for us, guys that have followed us, you know that we cast as late as we can, and then there's like a hard transition point where we go almost 100% into live bait. Live bait, sucker rigging is our favorite time of year. We just love that style of fishing, but we will cast right up until the water hits a certain temp where we start to see the whitefish and the ciscos, set up for their spawn. So once we see that water temp down in the 50-degree range, we pretty much start to just roll into sucker rigging. And the fall weather and the effects, we're always looking for either that hard cold front that are going to move the whitefish into spawn, or the opposite is that real warm front that we might come in and push some of the muskies back up into the shallow. So you got to kind of play it by ear. And there's lots of times when it warms up dramatically over 2 or 3 days, you'll see a lot of those muskies roll right back up onto those sand spots. So it's one of those things you have to be on the water and kind of see what's happening. it's hard to predict what it's going to do. And the fall up here is so unpredictable to begin with that you almost have to be here and react as it's kind of unfolding in front of you. It's very hard to plan a trip and look at it in the long range and say, here's what we're going to be doing when we get there. That seldom works up on Shield Lakes, and especially when you get past that mid part of October, it's like all bets are off. You're going to be dealing with the weather that you're dealt. Rick asks, can we show how we work our lures, retrieve them, what it is we're doing? And this is kind of our bad. We had talked about it last year when we were going to do underwater footage, that we were going to try and have a camera on the dock showing you guys how it is we're working those lures. We're going to work harder at trying to show you guys that side of the information, because it is valuable with some of the lures. And also in the boat, when we do get a fish, before we come back to the shop to do that 54-second breakdown, we're going to try and, if it's a specific style of lure that uses a specific style of retrieve, we're going to try and touch on that in the moment, maybe right after we release the fish, to try and give you guys some more information and some more context on what it is that we're doing at that particular time. So hopefully that's going to help, Rick. And again, I like that style of question because that's information that I wanted to know, and I'm sure it's information that you guys want to know. So we're going to try and, just bring more of that to you guys. Michael asked where we get our lures, or where we get the ones that aren't given to us by sponsor companies or people that want us to try their stuff. And my wife runs Bobby Sports Shop in Vermilion Bay, our hometown. It's got a huge musky selection. And through Bobby's, I got to meet a lot of these great builders by going to the annual sport shows and stuff. So that really helped build, that communication, that rapport with a lot of the owners of these companies. Now we deal direct on almost everything. If it's something that I don't go direct, I'll get it from my wife's shop. But to answer the question, most of it comes direct. We have a relationship with pretty much all of the major companies, and any of the smaller boutique stuff, I either reach out to them or they reach out to us, and it's a mutual relationship where we're going to try their stuff. We'll help them. And it's very humbling for us to have manufacturers reach out to us and want us to try their lures, to show them underwater, to give them a video of how it performs. And we don't take any of that for granted. It is very humbling to have the support of the community. Again, back to the answer, that's kind of how we get all our stuff, is 95% of it comes direct from the manufacturer. Spinner Fisherman asked, can you do a breakdown of your Musky Wall? And I've been reluctant to really show it off. It's not meant to be a show off. It was meant to get them out of Plano boxes, out of under my shelf, out of all over the place, to one convenient spot. And it just so happens it's a really cool backdrop for a musky channel. But it was a couple of things for us. It was really unique to get them up on the wall and inventory everything we have, kind of see where we're at with our lures. And it's also really cool to go through them and see what you're missing, what's damaged, what you need to fix out. You got to fix some hooks. And it was never meant to be this thing where we're trying to show off. I think a lot of musky anglers collect a lot of baits. I would say I'm not a collector. There's not really much on here that hasn't seen some form of fishing. And to strictly answer his question or her question of, can I do a breakdown of the Musky Wall? I think we will run through it because there's some really unique baits on there. And again, we're very humbled by all of the great manufacturers that send us stuff, do customs for us. And one of the things that we're kind of known for is our silver jailbird pattern. And it all started with the very first Suick right here. This is the one we call the one, just a silver jailbird. And now so many great manufacturers send us stuff that are takes on the silver jailbird. I could do a whole video just on the silver jailbird stuff. But I would like to take you guys through the wall before the season starts and show you some of the cool, unique stuff that's up there. And again, it's very humbling to know that all these manufacturers are willing to send us stuff to try, and we get them some, some video content. We catch some fish, and it's a two-way street. You build just such a great, rapport with these companies, and it can't be said enough how thankful we are to work with all of them, and how thankful we are to have you guys watching us and put your trust in watching us as much as they put their trust in, having us use their gear. So it's been a great, way of putting everything on the wall and building up a collection of lures. This question and answer format is actually fun. I really enjoyed going through the questions, seeing what, we could touch on, and some of these questions are going to kind of transform themselves into longer form videos. But check out the video right here for the question and answer one we did a few weeks back. Check out the video right here where we take what was a really cool custom lure and caught something that we weren't really expecting. But it just goes to show that when you work with some of these companies and you get some cool stuff, just cool stuff's going to happen. And until next time, 54 Bus is out of here. We'll catch you guys out on the water later.